In this video, we'll continue along the journey that I took in autumn along the Heartbreak Hill section, or the Cheshire Locks. But before that, let's have a look at something that's causing me a lot of worry. Yep, that's right, it's my batteries. They're not charging with the engine running, and they seem to have gone completely dead. I'm really useless at electronics, so I need some help here. And my main worry is it's going to cost me a lot of money to sort out. I've read up and trained myself as much as I can on 12 volt electricity, but this one I'm going to have to call in the experts for. Having had these batteries put in over 5 years ago, I have completely battered them, and now the charge reads at 11.9 volts, which is approximately 40%, which is approximately a dead battery. There are certain jobs that I can do myself on the boat when it comes to electronics. For example, this charge controller, I swapped it over from the old one quite easily. But I really wanted to get Ed Shears from Four Counties Marine along again. He's fitted a fridge for me in the past, and he's just been brilliant. He's taken out my old batteries. They will go to the scrap heap now, and Ed will be able to get some money back for them. And then, as quick as you like, he's just fitted the new ones. Before I could even get the camera ready, they're in there. But it's not really testing Ed's capabilities to the full. All we're doing is swapping in new batteries for old. Although, I have upgraded my domestics. These are the ones at the top. The two 6-volt ones there are actually larger in size, so there's more capacity there, meaning that I've got more energy to charge up my various gadgets with. Ed was able to easily fit another socket for me as well through this fuse box that I've got at the back, and that'll allow me to charge up my iPhone and my GoPro, lighting, etc, right at the back of the boat. Another problem I was having was not being able to charge the batteries properly from my engine. There was a voltage drop occurring between the alternator and the actual batteries themselves, and that was happening not with the alternator, that's fine, it's pushing at the maximum it could, but it was along the wire that was connecting the two. So we rewired. Look at all these old wires that he's got to deal with. I think possibly using a thicker cable, and we went straight to the domestic batteries, although I could be wrong on that one. Either way, we minimised the voltage drop, and now I can charge up my batteries using my engine. Perfect.
Yeah, so that's it.
Ed's taking away my old deep cycle batteries, but I'm keeping the starter battery, if only for ballast, so I can even out my boat on one side when the toilet tank fills up. But here are my lovely new batteries. They're all in there. I've got that 12 volt starter, 100 amp hour, and then I've got two 260 amp hour 6 volt Trojan deep cycle batteries with no money left, but 100% power. We're ready now to crank it through the Cheshire Locks. Here we go. I love these lock pairs because sometimes one lock is maybe a little bit defective. This one has got some subsidence on one side. You can see where all the stone has shifted, creating the narrower lock, whereas the other one is actually fine. So I've got a choice there if my boat is on the wide side. In my research on this canal, I found out that originally these were just single locks all along this stretch, and they only doubled them up in the 1830s, about 60 years after the canal had first been built. And that was to relieve congestion and speed things up for the sheer amount of working boats that were passing through. going to show you now is a bypass weir. And I love these things because you sort of pass by them all the time if you're on a boat. You just sort of disregard them, but you need them to get the water from the upper pound down into the lower pounds. So that's basically the water going around the lock when the lock's closed like this. But I just love the varying designs you get. I don't know why it's split like that, but it's a really interesting extra addition to a lock which I already find fascinating. It was then that I found something really strange. Not this piece of wood, that's going to be firewood for later, we'll have that. It was the sound that the water was making as it once again flowed down through the weir. Check this out. By slowing it down in the editing process, I can hear that the wind is affecting the sound of the water rushing in. And because perhaps it's coming from two different angles, as I'm panning across, there's a real strange swirling and swishing that I just think is incredible. I'm so glad I caught that. This vlog is sponsored by the following people who have been so generous to sign up to my Patreon group, the Crank It Crew. We've got Michael Price, Gwen Sinclair, and Sean James Cameron, who joins as a producer. Thank you all so much. Without your help, I would have to get a proper job, so thank you very much indeed. The second of these locks at Hassel Green takes us underneath the M6, and for me it's quite strange because I've driven across this motorway many times before and seen these exact locks and wondering when would I get my chance to actually take my boat through them. Quite an unusual thing happens now going under this M6 bridge. And that is, it's a lot quieter than at either side. It's really quite strange. I can hear some rumblings of cars going over, but nothing at all compared to what it's going to be like as we exit. Apart from the motorway, this is a really nice stretch of the canal. For a single-hander like myself, doing all the locks is a great little break as you pass your way through the countryside. And yeah, on a cold day it keeps you warm. But I can't moor up here and stay around this area for too long because my water tank is now nearing empty, so I've got to go fill that up again. If only there's some way of filtering the water from the canal. I think there is, but yeah, perhaps it's not quite at consumer level yet. This lock starts the Wheelock flight, which will take us to our destination, so we're not far. We've just got to get through 8 locks. But I'm doing it all on my own, and I'm struggling with this lock. I just need to let in a bit more water so it can equalise properly. There we go, we're away. Come on. Easy. Seen some logs on what I think is Canal River Trust land, so yeah, I'm just gonna take them for the fire. No one else wants them. Oh, this looks interesting. You've got this barrier that's, I don't know, seen better days. That's collapsed there. But this is an old lock that's been turned into a bypass weir. So this has got two bypass weirs, one here and another one over there. I often look up places after I've passed by them, and this is one of the Malkins Bank sidearm. It's just a little bit that comes off the canal, doesn't go very far, but I don't have any more information than that, I'm afraid. So if you know anything, please drop me a comment and let me know. Often when there are holes in the lock walls like this, when the lock is full, water collects within it and then releases once it's being emptied. But this is worrying me slightly because it's just at the right angle to go right down my chimney and put my fire out. Luckily the fire is still going strong. And it's not wet inside, so that's good. Well, I might be at the end of the Heartbreak Hill, Cheshire Locks section of this canal, but I've still got a fair bit to do here in Wheelock in Cheshire. I've got to fill up the water tank for the boat. empty some rubbish, and get some food because I'm absolutely starving after all that. That's great. Thank you. Got a few supplies, but so disappointing. No proper food. Fish and chip shop closed. There's a pub here as well, but that's closed too. And a restaurant as well, so normally I wouldn't go hungry, but being it's a Sunday and a pandemic, there's not a lot that's open, sadly. Hot. Yeah, that'll do. So I'm here after over 6 miles and 25 locks. I feel like I've reached the end of whatever they would term Heartbreak Hill, and the only heartbreak for me is that I won't be able to do it again for a while because, yeah, I'm going this way. Still don't know why they call it Heartbreak Hill, or why the old boatmen used to call it the Cheshire Locks, because they're also spread out and they seem to belong to separate little flights rather than be one long one. So it's strange, isn't it? But some of the best locks I've ever been through. Every single one was a joy to go down. I don't know about coming up, maybe it's a different story, but all the little touches, like you've got the rubbing strips you can see, or the little pieces of stone or metal that help with your feet in gaining purchase when you're pushing the gates open. All those little things, I mean, those locks just so well designed, and it was so interesting to see how some had fallen into disrepair, some had been given new leases of life, and some had been sort of turned into a feature for a house. But all in all, a pleasant stretch of the canal that I'd happily revisit. But the next leg of my journey sees me carrying on up to Middlewich and beyond, so I'll see what I can find around the next corner. Thanks so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye bye.